When I'm not praising YouTube for finally categorizing my videos with the proper amount of wokeness that they deserve. I like to answer questions that I get on YouTube, so let's get to it. Hey Sean, I know this is probably a dumb question, but why does everybody hate Wonderwall? Is it just because it's an obnoxious song? Where to begin with Wonderwall? I know exactly where to begin. 1995, What's the Story, Morning Glory. I was there for Wonderwall, people. I didn't even play guitar, and you know what? I will proudly say, at one point in my life, Wonderwall was my favorite song in history. I was just a boy, for sure. Again, did not play guitar yet. So to see what has happened to my beloved Wonderwall over the years has been kind of a troubling thing, whereas now I'm just like anybody. I hate the song. I can't handle it. I rip on it all the time. And I actually was forced to play it not once but twice at a show on Friday. And I still just feel so dirty from the entire experience. So why did such a beautiful song become the most hated song in guitar history? I think there's like a lot of factors kind of competing here. One, it's just a really easy song, right? Which shouldn't be a bad thing. In fact, so much of making great music is like trying to simplify something and just trying to make a communication type deal in the simplest way possible, which Wonderwall absolutely does. But I think the factors that are really against it is the turning of the tide of pop culture in conjunction with the pretentious nature of guitar players, myself included, for easier songs to play, along with like the personalities of Oasis. So what I mean by that is, you know, What's the Story, Morning Glory was an incredibly popular album, and part of everyone turning on Oasis at the same time, from my recollection of the late 90s, was because of just generally how arrogant the Gallagher brothers were, where they knew that Wonderwall was a great song, so they even kind of tease it at the beginning of their own album that it appears on later in the album. So first of all, right off the bat, it's like, yeah, we get it. We know we're the greatest band since the Beatles, you know, by their own accounts or whatever. Which, now that I'm getting older, I kind of realized that Oasis were some of like the last like true rock stars ever. That's another story. But again, everyone turned on Oasis kind of seemingly at the same time. I think they're an awesome band as far as Britpop rock goes. I was always more on Team Blur, but Oasis, again, great band. I think they have 3 great albums they released. Wonderwall just achieving so much mainstream success that people turned on them, and then that just kind of bore the brunt of all the venom and vitriol from the Gallagher brother fallout. And again, because it's easy to play, I think that just became the staple or the meme, so to speak, of everyone like, all right, I know one song on guitar, I'm gonna play Wonderwall. So because that song became the bastion of maybe the douchier guitarists, probably myself included at the time, definitely did not help matters. Along with the fact that the lyrics don't really make a whole lot of sense either. So part of me, deep down in my heart, kind of laments the fact that Wonderwall has become the albatross that it is. But that's just it. So it's really hard to play Wonderwall with a straight face nowadays. Hopefully history will remember it more fondly, and this is just kind of like a phase of the Wonderwall experience, but it's in kind of like a sorry state right now. You look like PewDiePie without money. I think the more important thing is that I feel like PewDiePie without money. Dig the music, mellow, progressive, cool, if there is such a thing. Oh, by the way, do musicians still say the word dig? Now, I think musicians still say the word dig, but it's changed in context. I think like back in like the glory days of the word dig, you could use it as itself, like, can you dig? Like, you don't need like a subject to dig. It's just the act of digging itself was enough to communicate what you're saying. Now I think you can dig it. You can dig something. I say dig sparingly. I might start using it more because it's pretty cool. Another word from, I think, the same era was referring to people as cats in like a cool way. Like, that cat over there, like that's a real cool cat. That's something I've been trying to bring back for a while, very unsuccessfully so. And another phrase is out of sight from that same era, which again, let's bring it back together. That's out of sight. If you're an E standard. Now, on the surface level, this is not one of the better Salty Blues comments that I've gotten, but when you dig a little deeper, I think this is my favorite Salty Blues one I've gotten so far. If you're in E standard. It's like this guy, whoever this troll is, brought up a video. He knew he was going to hate on it somehow. Probably watched a good amount of the video. Couldn't find anything specific to hate on. So then just decided to make fun of the fact that I didn't mention I was playing an E standard before the guitar lesson. So it's not like I'm starting every lesson out with, we're going to be learning this in E standard. This is an acoustic guitar with 6 strings tuned properly or not. So if you're an E standard guy, I think this is really like a whole new level of like real deep salt that comes from a dark place. So I appreciate it. Maybe I'll start letting people know that I am playing in E standard before every guitar lesson. Speaking as a cowboy quarter, is that a thing? The only song more pretentious than Wonderwall, when full force cowboy quartered, is Zombie by the Cranberries. Another great video question. I've heard many people say that playing rhythm guitar is harder than playing lead guitar. Can you expound on this? As far as what's harder to do, rhythm guitar or lead guitar, I just think it's where you're coming from. And that's why a lot of things that I try to like preach in like lessons and stuff is to not differentiate rhythm and lead guitar. You're just playing guitar. You can incorporate elements of both of it. Because if you're just like a shredder, right? And I've met a ton of these guys who can out-shred me 1,000 miles. You know what I mean? Like they're just amazing lead guitar players, and they do have a hard time with rhythm. So from their perspective, rhythm is harder just because they're awesome lead players, because they practice lead playing and they barely ever practice rhythm playing. The flip side of that coin is that a rhythm player who just kind of just chords it and is amazing what they do chord-wise has no idea how to do lead things. So they look at someone who's like just a nasty lead player and they'd be like, I could never do that. That's so much harder than what I do because all they practice is rhythm playing. So that's why it's important just to practice lead playing, practice rhythm playing, practice combining them in a way that maybe you can kind of like add a chord and then do like some kind of like lead thing on top of it. But really, the distinction between lead playing and rhythm, it's not like one is harder. Like, you know, the most advanced lead playing is probably, you know, as difficult, just by the numbers, as the most advanced rhythm playing. So, again, one's not harder than the other. It's just the perspective that you have when seeing something that you're not practicing. So practice both of them, because I think even if, you know, maybe you are just a lead player or just a rhythm player, there is really valuable stuff that you can find from both facets of playing guitar and just being generally proficient at the instrument all around. So for listening homework this week, we're going to Royal Blood. We've talked about Royal Blood before in the past, but they're on my mind because I just saw them last night live, and they absolutely rocked. Pretty incredible for a two-piece band and what they pull off and just the amount of sound that those guys get. And put on a fantastic show. If you get a chance to see Royal Blood, I would highly recommend it. Just a rocking show, beginning to end. I think they played like an hour and a half set. It felt like 20 minutes. It's fantastic. Usually, I kind of get bored, even from bands that I like at concerts. I did not feel that way for a single second at Royal Blood. So if you haven't checked them out, definitely get on the Royal Blood train. Even though the newer stuff, you can tell that's very Queens of the Stone Age inspired. And, you know, obviously there's going to be a lot of White Stripes comparisons, stuff like that. It's just good rock music, you know? Check it out. Even if you are familiar with them, revisit it. And if you have any questions or comments, hit me up in the comment section, Instagram, Twitter, or the website, and I'll talk to you all soon. Thanks a lot.